All right. Fort Wayne Obedience Training Club. This detective on Sunday. So the exterior portion was basically just the ramp because we were going to have really cruddy weather. So Starlight was right here. So the guardrail or the handrail was not in play, but sidewalk in the building and the entrance to the building was in play. First hide was cypress in a straw right in the corner where my fingers point, kind of behind the molding. A lot of dogs wanted to rush through this or rush past the entranceway. A lot of them showed change and eventually did find their way to come back, but that was cypress. Earlier when it was kind of raining, it held pretty tight, and when it wasn't raining and the wind was blowing, it moved pretty good. So that was hide number one. There were 6 hides in total. Hide number 2 was or is on a shrink wrap tube, anise right on the lip of that chair. That was anise in a shrink wrap tube, just on the bottom of the chair, just on the front lip. Because right over here in the men's bathroom, if I can find my finger to point right to it, men's bathroom behind the door at the same height, kind of in the center of the door, was birch in a slider tin, 8-hole slider tin. That odor stayed pretty tight behind the door. It did bleed out from where the hinges are at, and it also did bleed out on the side of the door handle side. And when it did bleed out that way, it normally stayed pretty tight within the bathroom. But the chair hide did roll out and stick some to the Coke machine quite a bit. The Coke machine or Pepsi or cold drink machine has been running all day, so that fan has been pulling in pretty good. All right, so that's 2 hides of the 6, or 3 hides of the 6. This space was blank. Then we had a nice setup. I called it the Scent Work Church here for Sunday. Set up here. 3 hides in this space. Hide number 1 was anise in a black straw. Anise in a shrink wrap tube. Let's see if I can point to it. It is right on that corner underneath the table. So that was anise in a shrink wrap tube. Number 2 was in the middle of this table, and on the middle table, right underneath, right smack dab in the middle. It's about equal with where the hand sanitizer thing is on the wall, but on the bottom of the table. And that was birch in a cardboard straw. And over here, the third one was on the leg of that table, down low, and that was clove in a cardboard straw. If I was to say the number 1 hide missed, was probably the hide in the middle, on the middle table. This one that's by the kind of under the table, but equivalent to about the same line as a hand sanitizer that's on the wall. That would have been the number 1 hide missed. These 3 hides, it was very interesting. If you notice right over here on the wall, there is the heating system. When that was blowing and on, dogs normally hit the odor from this side of the chairs, and the handler had to figure a way to get them to the other side, which a lot of handlers stood and watched their dogs try to work their way to get to the side, but they just stood there and they never found a way to get them around to get to an opening or to get through. If the heating system was off, the dogs hit it from this back wall over here. They hit it from the back wall, this back wall over here. So this kind of a unique observation. The taller dogs obviously wanted to peer over the fence, and the shorter dogs wanted to peer under the fence. A lot of fun. I think we ended up with 2 cues, random mistakes, a few falses on this table over here, a few falses on this over here. But if I was to say number 1 hide missed, it would be a toss-up between the outside hide and the hide in the middle of the table.